We now have our distinguished panel. I am so thrilled to introduce them. We have Mr. Lee Chen, we have Stephen Persson, we have Philip Roth, and we have Mr. John Beaufoy. And we have the distinguished Dean Cooper being the moderator. So everybody give him a hand.
I have my list of questions, guys. I think Marianne checked these with you. No, she didn't. I was going to say, because even I tend to go off-piste anyway. So we just want to get a bit of a discussion going. But all of these folks up here are really experienced, and many of you will have seen some of them speaking and things at these sort of events before. So I'm happy if there's any questions from the audience. We could maybe try and. What do you reckon? We'll take some of those as well. Let's see how we go. Okay. So Philip. Yep. You're first on my list, Philip.
Oh,
so
cool.
yeah,
Awesome.
So the first question I've got here is a question about the drivers behind your decision to modernise your user interface, right? But I was actually wondering, just perhaps before, as part of that, maybe just give us a little bit of an intro on the system, what the user interface is and what it does. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So I'm Philip Roth. I work for Speirs Group. So we're a finance company and we do asset lending and finance as such. So that's our main business goal. But we've been using Jade for quite some time. So probably about 20 years. Stephen Persson used to work for us, and there are a few in the group as well that used to work for us. But so Jade was a really, really strong platform for us, and it's served us so far with all the products and services that we built for our customers. Now, with the world changing, with platforms changing, we need to evolve from what we've actually built so far. And then the conversation around Jade modernization came into play. So how do we modernize our platform to provide better services, better, faster products to the market? Because we're a company which is fast-paced, and we want to actually be able to deliver products to our customers, and also have an experience that will actually take our customers along the journey and also make them a repeat customer for us. So tech plays a really, really important role for us in that space. And we've looked at it in multiple different ways, and we've spoken to Jade, we've spoken to the people in the industry as such to actually give us that insight into what could be done better. This is what we're thinking, and how do we modernize our platform? It's not just the user interface. User interface is, you have shiny bells on an old platform, but that's not what we're looking at. We're looking at a system that could actually deliver what we're looking for, what our customers are looking for, what the end user is looking for. So that actually led us to this point of modernizing our platform. So.
Are there any particular technology challenges or aspects between bridging Jade into some of these modern text integration things or anything that you might want to share with the group?
Oh, yeah. So Jade as a platform is holistic in nature, and like everyone knows, it doesn't easily talk to the outside world. So what we've done is we've spoken to Jade, we've spoken to the experts in the industry, and we've asked them, how can we actually make this platform agile, simplify it, so we can use any SaaS-based platform to actually talk to it. So what we've come up with is an API integration layer that we've actually built with our developers in-house, and of course with Jade's help as well. So we've actually built a wrapper around this Jade platform so it can actually communicate to the outside world, both in terms of application and in terms of data being pushed out to a warehouse as well. Now, this platform has actually given us such flexibility. So we could roll out products, we could use analytics, we could use a whole range of tools that are out there for us to actually do business better. Because that is what the drivers, that is what the users want, that is what our customer wants, is we be faster to the market, whereby we can actually, gain a bigger market share.
Thanks. I see Stephen's got the mic, so I'm going to go to Stephen next. How's it? Yeah, and I know with Simplifi and things in terms of connecting to the outside world, you've been one of the pioneers of that right from the start, with the way you've done the web interface and everything yours. But I've seen a bit of activity on LinkedIn recently about a new employee, new AI employee, and I'm interested in the story around that, which is really interesting, but also if there's anything about maybe the integration points and stuff, with the way you actually went about doing that might be interesting, but yeah.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for the chance to be here. A little bit of weeds came out when I got the invite, to be honest. You're a little bit nervous, but thank you, Marianne. So, so what Dean is, because I'm referring to, is we've just got this chatbot, which we've just gone live with actually, which we call Pete, which is probably why there's confusion about who's actually going to be talking. It was named after Pete, one of our developers. Everyone asks Pete anything IT, so it made sense to call the chatbot Pete, right? So, but it's a bit of a big step for us here because I've been kind of putting it off for ages. I'm like one of those people that can see where everything's happening, but it just kind of seemed too big, the problem. It was like, there's like all these different models, all these different sort of ways to go about it. I was like terrified of like doing something wrong. It's like sort of putting something in and all of a sudden it's picking up all of our financial documents and people's contracts and it's telling how much everyone earns. So it's like I've been kind of a bit scared to even sort of jump into it. I actually went to a Gartner conference over in Sydney a couple of months back about like AI and like data analytics and that sort of stuff, hoping I'd kind of get some sort of direction from that. But it was kind of like someone who doesn't even know how to drive a car going to a car show and you're seeing all these cars with like gull wing and it's like all the spectacular stuff. And I'm kind of asking questions like, so it can go forwards and backwards type sort of thing. And it's kind of like, I just want to learn how to drive a car. I'm after a Toyota Corolla type sort of thing, right? And I'm seeing all these sort of flash things. So, it kind of almost put me off even more because it was just kind of too big, right? And it was kind of asking them, how do you start this journey? And they're saying, well, it's easy. You partner up with us, you pay us $200K and we'll make it all work for you. And it's like, well, that's kind of not where we're at. So it was finally just a matter of like taking the plunge and sort of just trying it, right? Just like dipping the toe in the water and hopefully it doesn't get sort of bitten off. So we just started with ChatGPT and OpenAI. They've got a very simple API that you can just call, like with all the sort of questions and stuff that you want. Jade is super simple, as I'm sure most of you know, for like APIs, and like JSON, all of that sort of stuff. So it was quite literally about 6 lines of like JavaScript code, and I was querying this thing, and it was giving back beautiful answers. So it was quite simple. But the big advantage with like kind of starting with like this approach is we started just with it doing like our online documentation, so people can just ask it the documentation. So there's nothing actually in our own sort of servers or network or anything. With the OpenAI thing, you can just upload the docs to it that you want. So it's just all of our own docs that we already had from our online help files, which no one kind of bothered trying to wade through and get to, right? So it was just literally copying all those docs up into this portal, and it gives you back this little vector key to identify it, and you just put that into your JSON structure when you call it, and that's how it knows what document set to get. So there's no risk of it picking up any other documents from our network, any stuff that it wasn't meant to have access to. And like I said, 6 lines of code, we had this blimmin' thing, you could ask it a question, and it's scanning through the documents, it told you what documents it was picking up if anything was wrong, and it was, in the end, crazy, ridiculously simple. But the big advantage with how we do our product is Jade does everything for us. So our entire stack is Jade with an HTML front end. So there's no sort of APIs and .NETs and all the sort of authentication servers and security layers. It's all in Jade for us. So what we found pretty quickly is chatbot's cool, but lots of people do that sort of thing, right? But playing around with it is with the structured JSON stuff that you can do within it. You can give it sort of functions, so you can make up functions. So in our world, we can say, I want to publish a job. So we'll sort of define this function in a JSON structure. I need to know the role, the department, the date it's for, the date it goes to, and how many people you need. And so you could click the thing and you could ask it a question, publish a job in the bakery for Monday next week. I need 3 bakery assistants. And the cool thing about that is that it sends back a little JSON structure to us. So there's nothing in it that's like accessing our like database or accessing any of our stuff. It's just a JSON structure that we get back. So there's no security risk as such in terms of it playing around. We just get this nice little JSON structure. And because everything is within the Jade product for us, we can check stuff like, does that person have access to the bakery? Or is it a butchery person that's just asked a silly question? Can they publish jobs? We can check all that sort of access stuff within it. We can then decide how we send it back as well. So we generate all of our HTML within Jade and then send it back to the browser. So we can actually generate a full HTML reply saying, is this what you're after? And then send that back to the chat, and the chat sort of pops it up. So in the end, after all that sort of fear of sort of not opening up too much, it actually ended up being a really, really simple process because of the fact that we've kind of got everything built within that Jade product, and Jade handles all that API, JSON, like dynamic JSON even, like when we don't know what's coming back, we can handle all that. It's been a really simple process in the end, and we've been able to open up a whole lot of extra ideas, and things that we can do going forward.
I think in the whole spirit of the sort of accelerated and rebooted community that you heard from Sue, maybe if you hit Stephen up today through the breaks, maybe he'll share that 6 lines of code with you. I mean, just 6 lines of code. I think at least, Stephen, we're going to be hitting you up for some technical articles in the rebooted forums. That's great experience there. I'll pivot now. I see John's sitting down the end here. I can tell with John, he's always waiting for his turn. Got a question about John, about Jade Git. I think probably the last one of these. I know for those, some of you might have heard, Justin mentioned this at this event last year, but John and his team from NWA, they've been long-standing members of the Jade community for years and years, but they're now actually in the building with us. We got him, so he's actually John and his team are part of Jade Software now, so they've moved. I mean, they were just literally down the road and around the corner in Wairiki Road, but now they're in the building with us. There's lots of collaboration across the company and the enterprise customer sense with the plant. I see Kev over there. Kev and John are in and out of the plant all the time. And in fact, the Jade Git piece that I know many of you will have heard John and Kev and that talk about, for a number of years. Just to be really clear about it, that is, we all think about it now, it's like a first-class citizen, if you like, with the Jade Platform. There's really, really tight collaboration between the Jade Platform developers and John and his team working on Jade Git. That is basically at the platform level. The way that we're going forward with what you think about as version control and CI/CD and everything. So that's been when was that, John? It was last Christmas. Was it? No, not that long ago. How does it feel? Yeah, good. Great. Good. Yeah. Kind of have to say that, don't you? It's great to see just them in and getting around the company, and so on that. Do you want to give us a bit of an update on Jade Git? I mean, where it's at and the kind of things you do. I mean, the technology's been there, for a while, but I know just you're involved in talking with a number of our customers and things about. I think the things that I've seen you doing, it's one to have the technology, but perhaps if you've never worked in that kind of arrangement before and things, it's more than just the technology piece, isn't it? There's a lot of things that perhaps you need to think about.
Yeah, there are. Kev and I have been using the Jade environment for quite some time, and we just felt that adding version control in there would improve the experience. Just recapping, it allows you to capture changes as you're making them, allows you to manage multiple changes as you go through it, and also give you confidence for taking changes out of one environment and putting it into another. And I was thinking earlier about the talk on bringing people into the industry. Well, Git is such a popular tool, and if we were to ask how many in the room have used Git or go to any software conference, that's what you'd hear. And we know that graduates are being trained in Git. They're expecting to use Git when they go into the industry. Same for anyone who's cross-training. So you bring them in, and actually not having tools like that is a bit of a shame. We actually want to bring people into the community. So Git has that. It's got a huge ecosystem, and there's a lot of utilities in there that if we can get into there from a Jade perspective, we can get on that flywheel and do those sorts of things. So that was the genesis for the open source project that Kevin started. And Skipton's using it. We've got other teams starting to look at it now too. And it's there for everyone else to give it a try. And there is probably, as a takeaway, if you want to get started with it, I would probably barrel Kevin up later on when he's at the bar, maybe buy him a pint and pick his brain, and just to see how your team might be able to take it forward. But we have put some some YouTube tutorials on there now. So if you go on YouTube, just search Jade Git, we'll actually get them on that academy in some shape or form as well. So on there, there's some topics of how to get started, so installation, looking at branching, merging, how you can view your history of changes, and all those things you'd expect from that type of tool. And actually, I think it just helps with positioning Jade, because Jade's been so much better, I think, in the past with other areas of technology, but that one's been lacking compared to some other tools. And I think this brings it up and competing in that sense. And actually, because Jade's got that other cool stuff, I actually think it still makes it a compelling proposition for building applications.
I know within the company, as much as we try and get as much time from these guys as we can for our other customers and plant work and things, the key thing that John and his team still do is obviously a lot of work back for our collective group owner back in Skipton. So the work you've been doing for ages in that space. So I know we've heard about Jade Git and everything in Skipton, but I just wonder, is there any other interesting development activities or things going on in Skipton around the Jade platform that people may be interested in?
So Skipton's been, I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse, but one thing it'll do is it's built a lot of its own software, and part of that is our crown jewels is our customer, and we've got a core system that captures all our customer information, and so we've had our own CRM type application on top of that, which our internal staff use. But we've changed the architecture recently, and we've brought in Microsoft Dynamics, so you can say a type of CRM tool. And there's been some interesting technical challenges to actually stand that up next to our core system. And it's relatively easy to push all your customers over. It's not so much a migrate; it's more of a duplication of the customers, because we need the customer record in our existing system, and we also need it in Dynamics. That part is not too bad, but actually more the challenge is how you can capture any changes to your customer records in Jade and actually push them through and keep Dynamics up to date. Sort of the 101, the first thing to try is, as you update the customer, have a web service which pushes that same update over to Dynamics, and that might work. But what we found is the latency on that actually didn't create the best experience for our internal staff using the Jade side, having to wait for 5-10 seconds, just not good enough. So we next made that work asynchronously. So when you do a customer update, very soon after, we'd pick that up as a background task and push the update over to the Dynamics side. And that's what we're currently running with now. But we're really looking for what is the industry best practice way of doing this. And I guess one of the recent features on the Jade side is the event streaming capability. And so I've been working with Dean, working with Hugh, Patrick, and others to really bring that event streaming model to life. And and Hugh will present a much better picture of it in his talk later. But to have actions and updates that occur in your system come through in a JSON form and be able to then pass those over to Dynamics and to many other downstream areas that need our data. I mean, that's actually going to be quite a compelling capability for Skipton going forward. And we're just working with the Jade team at the moment, just looking at those events as they come through and finding ways of enriching that data to make it more palatable to those downstream activities. So, yeah, it's been really great having the platform team and others just helping us on that journey.
Oh, it's good, Nico. That, yeah, I mean, Hugh's got a whole session on. No, it's good. Yeah, no, it's that's as Hugh will emphasise as well, the whole event streaming, space is a key strategic integration focus for us. Basically APIs and event streaming are the way that we're seeing lots of our larger enterprise type customers in particular. It's where their architectures are going. And as Hugh will cover, there's event streaming is sort of an umbrella term. There's a number of different approaches and considerations in there. So again, in the whole community spirit, if you're thinking about anything that has event streaming within sort of 100 miles of it, please come and talk to us. It's a good time at the moment with our thinking. We're really interested in different use cases, and there's an opportunity to influence the direction. So please do that. And just the range of, there's quite different scenarios between where, say, it's just Jade going out to one sort of targeted system, whereas Skipton, like many businesses, there might be 3 or 4 consumer points or something today, but they want the optionality to add more later. So it's when you end up, I guess, in the Jade system into the one-to-many scenarios, some of which may be unknown. That's the area that we're thinking of a lot of spaces to try and make things easier. So thanks for that, John. It's good.